Dr. Kim Marie earned her Doctor of Metaphysical Science, Pastoral Psychology in 2007. Dr. Kim Marie is founder and president of Brave Breakthroughs, LLC. She's an author, speaker, intuitive strategist specializing in a holistic approach to optimal health and empowerment. She wears many hats that can be described as mindset coach, certified substance abuse counselor, personal trainer, business consultant, energy healer, spiritual counselor. Dr. Kim Marie is a leader of transformation. She has a great understanding of the human condition and how to tap into the body's wisdom to create long-term solutions. Her professional background includes extensive physical, psychological, and spiritual training with over 25 years of self-exploration. Kim Marie recently hosted a national weekly talk show, as well as facilitating workshops and speaking for institutions and corporations. She incorporates tools and concepts from her Brave Breakthroughs life management system, 5 steps to claiming the life you were destined for, as well as recently launching her second book, Problem Solver's Burnout Cure: How to Reclaim Your Health, Redefine Your Relationships, and Reignite Your Passion. As a facilitator of transformation and empowerment, her enthusiasm and energy are wonderfully contagious. She delivers a powerful and relatable message while adding her playful touch. As someone who has overcome a great deal of adversity in her own life, she is admired for her candid honesty and willingness to be transparent. You will be inspired. Her speaking truly comes out of her passion and sense of purpose. It's an honor and pleasure to introduce her. Please welcome Dr. Kim Marie Machinga.
Do you want to know the best way to master self-sabotage? Sign up to speak in front of a bunch of metaphysicians and brilliant leaders. Every fear, doubt, insecurity, and anything that can get in your way will test you. I had everything happen from things to just distract me. You know what, this is important. Oh, this is important. I'll figure it out. I know what to say. All of these things come up. How many of you can relate with that? Am I the only one? For me, I don't need the patch to stop smoking. I need the patch. Ooh, I ripped this patch. I need the patch to stop struggling. Has that happened in your life? Am I the only one? No matter what you're going through, you trip yourself along the way because it's not supposed to be easy. Today, I want to speak to the people that I want to be a hero to, problem solvers. Did you know that was you? Turn to the person next to you and say, "You're a good problem solver." And what did you hear in your mind when you heard that? Did you hear, "Oh, no, no, no. If you only knew what was inside of here, you would never think that," right? Is that what goes on in here? That's what goes on for me. That's what I want to speak to today, because I am so excited to be speaking with people who are here and committed to make a difference in the world. Let me give you a round of applause. We need you. I wrote a book about Problem Solver's Burnout Cure. Why do you think I did that? Because many of us take ourselves out of the game before it even starts. And how are we going to change the world if we keep tripping ourselves? There are too many people in this world that leave with their song still inside of them. 90% of people live inside their comfort zone. And they're afraid to get out because it's safe, it's comfortable, it's predictable. Many people are walking in the opposite direction of their goals and dreams, and they don't even realize it. I can't tell you how many times they think they're walking in that direction, but they're doing everything they possibly can to trip themselves. So what holds you back from being you? Every one of us is here, and I love all the speakers today because you really set me up. There were so many, Dr. Nancy, amazing. So many people that talked about the very thing that set me up for my speech today. So what holds you back from being you? Because each one of us has a passion, has a gifts inside of us, special gifts, just for us, our fingerprint. Then what would hold us back from sharing it with the world if we can help change one person's life? Fear. False evidence appearing real. So common fears that we go through in our head are that we'll never be enough, right? So we fear that we'll be judged or we'll look stupid. I heard somebody talking to Dr. Terry in the hallway. He got up and he gave this presentation, and it was big and it was powerful. And a woman came up to him and she said, "How do you do that? I want to do that. I wish I could do that." And I wanted to step in that conversation because there's a little girl inside of me that I've always wanted to do that too. But what was even bigger than my passion was fear. And when I say was, I mean not was. Not was. I struggle and I have to fight this need to self-sabotage with everything I do. How many times it went through my head, I could just back out of this. Who's going to know? I could say anything happened. I mean, right up until the moment I want to take myself out of the game. What happens is that we have this barometer that is set inside of us. And this barometer, whether it's conscious or not, most of the time it's unconscious, like these beliefs. Many of us say, well, we're not in fear. We're not doing things in fear. You're not speaking to me. Many of these are very subconscious beliefs, and they hold us back because we keep recreating them. So we have this barometer that is set, and whenever we start to succeed, we set a goal, then we start to succeed, and then all of a sudden, this barometer goes, you're not ready for that. You don't think you're good enough. You don't think you're lovable. You don't think you can make a difference. You don't think anything inside of you is important enough to say. And so we set that goal and we make some strides, and then there's this discomfort. And if we're not aware of it, all of a sudden we shoot ourselves right in the foot, and we don't even realize that the gun is in our hand. It is crazy how we do this because it runs in the background of our subconscious mind. We're not even aware of it. That's why it's called our blind spot. So what happens after we self-sabotage? Then we get to feel what we always feel, shame, right? Then we can walk out with our tail between our legs, and we can do what we always do because it's comfortable. And then we can beat ourselves up, and we can say, well, maybe one day I'll get to be like that person because they got up here and did it, not realizing that that person has all that stuff going on inside of them as well. Every person that came up here today, are any of you in the room? How many of you were afraid? Yes? I see eyes. Were you afraid? I'm going to teach you how to overcome that because the fear never goes away. How do we self-sabotage? Many ways that we self-sabotage. Our negative self-talk. How do we speak to ourselves? What do we say? Now, many people don't realize that they speak to themselves negatively. Now, if I looked at the person in the front row, and I said, "Who's a pretty girl?" Everyone's laughing. And he's very excited that he is. But what goes on in your mind when you hear a compliment? Ugh, you know, we dilute it, right? We discount ourselves. We set ourselves up with impossible expectations. We don't set ourselves up to win. We are self-sabotaging when we don't keep our word, because again, we get to walk with our tail between our legs. What about saying yes when we really mean no? How many people are in unhappy marriages, relationships, and life because they are afraid to speak up? They're afraid that they might lose something in that situation. So we abandon the needs within ourselves as if there isn't another opportunity for a win-win. We may hold ourselves back out of guilt, putting ourselves in situations where we're not treated with respect. I love this one. Put your needs aside to be the better person. Isn't that a recipe for resentment? Doesn't even sound like it, right? Be the better person. I'm not better than you if I'm stuffing my needs in. And there's a possibility for the two of us to be happy. Having no problem giving, but are willing to receive. How many times do you get a compliment? "Oh, I love your dress." "Oh, this whole thing, it was only $10. "You did such a good job." "Ugh, if you knew what I went through, if you had any idea what was going on in this head." We immediately, or we're not good at it, we just keep telling ourselves these things. We swat anything good away as quickly as possible. Do you know those people? I have yes, right? I have a lot of them. I'm one of them. I have a patch. I have patches. I'll even give them away. What happens, that barometer becomes like a comfortable bed of nails. If it's yours, you'll lay on it because you're used to it. So even if you get something like a relationship that honors everything about you, if you don't believe that inside, you'll sabotage it. You will sabotage it. So what do we do when we set a goal? Do you know that if your dreams are not bigger than you, wait, how does that go? If your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough. Yes? So what do you do when you set a goal? I'll tell you what I do. First, I commit with supreme clarity because it's a goal of mine, right? And I get I'm so inspired. I'm like, I know I can do this. I got this. So I commit. 4 seconds later, I freak out. Then I prepare. Now, in the preparation is where self-sabotage loves to live. And then I move over. And I want to talk about that today. This was me when the little girl inside of me, I don't know if you can see her. She's over here all the time. This is when she found out that I committed to speak at the school that changed my life and in front of peers that have doctorates, most of you, who are graduating, so you're all excited, and the world is at your feet, and you're on fire, and you're ready. And I should know a lot. So what happened? She went, "What? No!" And then all these things started rushing in. Like, oh my God, wait a minute. You don't know anything. How do you think you know anything? Why do you think you're better than anybody? Wait a minute. There are a lot of people out here that can speak a lot better than you can. You're terrified. There's always that little girl. She's right here at all times. I want to talk about her today. You know why? Because I believe there's a little boy or a little girl in each one of us. I believe that we are just a bunch of little kids running around in these big grown-up costumes trying to get by, yes? And that grown-up costume is our ego. That little girl is our highest self. That's who we are. That's the one that will pull us. That's the one will tell us when we shouldn't be in a situation. That's the one that will cry when she knows she's being abandoned. Her needs, her puzzle piece in this tapestry of life, is being suppressed with your hand over her mouth because we are not good enough. We put on that costume. So as problem solvers, how does this affect us? I speak about this because many of us fall into perfectionism. Many high achievers. Why do you think that is? Because you should know this. Your life should be together, right? Yes? And you fix everybody else's problems. You don't have the right to go to somebody and tell them you have a problem that you haven't mastered. How are you teaching this? Does that go through your head? That goes through mine. And it's so convincing. These limiting beliefs run rampant in our mind. They come crashing in at the most inopportune moment, and they say, they're like the town idiots. They come in and they scream all this stuff, all these bad things. So if we're doing this, what we do is we set our goal, and then we don't feel we should celebrate that little boy or girl. Right? We should know better. We should be doing better. Could you imagine? So what happens? What happens when we disconnect? Right? When we disconnect, we're disconnecting from the highest part of ourself. The difference between being a high achiever and perfectionism is when we set a goal that we can't attain. When we attach our self and our worth to the outcome. So this not good enough-itis, I coined that phrase, it's a spiritual disconnection that leads to self-sabotage. Again, just like a computer virus, it can be running in the background of our mind, and we're not even aware of it. This is where self-sabotage comes in, because we get this anger and resentment so deep inside of us, and we don't understand why. That why me shows up. So we're giving, but we're running on empty because we don't know how to give that little girl inside or that little boy. We're not able to give anything we don't have. So whatever you want to give, it has to come through you. If you want it to come to you, like trust, good relationships, harmony, peace, we have to allow it to come through us. The way we do that is by connecting with that child inside. I want you to imagine for a minute, when a little boy or girl starts to walk, like they're crawling for like a couple of months, right? They're crawling, and then all of a sudden they take that step and they wobble and they fall. And then they take a couple more steps, and then they get to the point where they walk and they make it to the other side of the room, and they get to you. What do you do? Tell me what you do. Yes! Right? Oh my God, we did such a good job. What do we do to ourselves? What took you so long? You're not running? I cannot believe you're not running already. So what happens? That little boy or girl inside needs control. So you start to procrastinate. You get distracted. You thrive on chaos and drama. You play victim. It's the one that makes you fat and broke. Right? There's a list of things. My clients have anxiety, depression, addiction. They hurt themselves. They have struggled with relationships. And the way I bring them back, because they have so much compassion like you, very empathetic, but they get accused of being, what did you say? Insensitive, that's exact. Yeah, you're very sensitive, but sometimes you get accused of being insensitive. And it's very interesting, especially people with addiction. But when you address them and you say something instead of you're an alcoholic or you're an addict, and you say no, you're a hurting little boy who happens to drown his pain in alcohol because there's a disconnect. You make a big difference. I had a client who was 60 years old who cut his hand off. Self-sabotage. And at that time, I was able to tell that little hurting boy how to heal. And he is shining today. Yes, very exciting. So to wrap it up, if there is not a balance between giving, I have a lot of slides, clearly. I'm going to end it like this. If you aspire to inspire, we'll do this before we expire. If you want to make a difference in anyone's life, people listen less to what you say than model what you do. Love yourself. Listen to that little boy or girl inside. Allow yourself to be guided. And know that your purpose is bigger than you. Move over. Thank you.
You don't thrill me like you used to thrill me, that's sabotage.